Being prepared for day-to-day challenges when out and about can result in your everyday carry getting seriously out of control. So I am always on the lookout for new great practical items that are small and lightweight, and that is exactly what I have here for you today. And as usual, I'll include product links to everything featured in the description down below. This is the U1 Pro utility knife from a company called Oknife, and first impressions of this are really good. It's a utility knife, so it uses the standard readily available blades, but it's in a fold-in knife form factor with a very nice and very secure axis lock. On the back we have a polished deep carry pocket clip with a lanyard hole, and all the other metal parts are in a satin finish, which I think looks really nice. We have single-handed blade opening thanks to the thumb stud here, and the action is super smooth and there's no play evident at all with this knife. It also feels really secure in the hand with a thumb grip on the top here and finger protection. And the blade is held securely in a metal frame with a single screw here to release the blade, but this doesn't fully remove to prevent it from being lost, which gives an indication of the attention to detail we see here. And with this design you get to use the full length of the blade compared to what we see with most utility knives, which generally just use the front half of the blade. And as you can see, it offers a very compact size for a full grip utility knife. And it doesn't stop there. Here on the back of the knife we have an unexpected addition, a fold-out lock-in 4mm bit driver. Now the position of this when unfolded is ideal in use, and it won't fold under pressure thanks to that lock, and it releases with a push of this button. And it comes with a double-ended Phillips and flat head bit, which is held magnetically in place. But if you have something like this previously featured Hoto screwdriver, you could borrow your favorite double-ended bits from the 12 on offer in here, which fit fine. This version has a very nice micarta handle, which is my personal favorite, and weighs in at 79 grams, which is around 3 ounces, but it's also available in black with smooth G10 scales at 85 grams, and again is very nice. And for those with a sweet tooth or questionable taste, it's also available in textured pink G10 with sprinkles. Now, as I film this, it's available from Amazon.com and costs $35, which, considering the features on offer and the quality, seems to me like a great price. This next item is also from Oknife, and it's the D1 Aluminium screwdriver, and it's a super compact screwdriver that takes the standard 4mm double-ended bits, 4 of which are concealed in the handle here under this hatch, which is held in place with a ball bearing D10. The bits are loose in here but held magnetically in place in the bit driver itself, and then the flat sides give loads of grip and it fits really nicely in the hand. And again, you could borrow bits from something like the Hoto screwdriver if your bit needs are different to those provided. Interestingly, also included in the box is a pencil bit, and at first I thought this used the everlasting pencil material, which in my experience never works that well. But this writes much darker, which means it's much more useful, but it's not going to be everlasting. Now there's a hole in the back here for a lanyard, and a length of paracord is included, but there's also a hex shaped hole at the back here too, and this will take one of the double-ended bits, which is held in place magnetically, and then the smaller hole on the opposite side stops it pushing all the way through, meaning you now have a screwdriver with loads of torque available, albeit a short one. It is though a nice additional feature. Overall, a quality compact and lightweight screwdriver, weighing in at just 32 grams, so just over an ounce, and that's with the 5 bits included, and it costs around $20. This is the original TiSpanner from TiSpanner, and it is a tiny titanium adjustable wrench, and it had over 2,000 backers on Kickstarter in 2023, of which I was one. Jump forward around a year or so and we have the new version 2, which is this one here. So let's see what this one is all about. So it's a tiny adjustable wrench. It weighs in at just 17 grams, which is around half an ounce, and the maximum opening opening is around 1¼ inches. It's perfect for smaller nuts and bolts, giving you plenty of torque, like tightening spokes on a bike for example, but for larger jobs there is only so much you can expect from something this small. It does though do a good job even on those larger nuts, and you do have much more capability than just relying on your thumb and fingers to tighten or grip something. The overall design, as you can see, is cleaner than the original, with the screw shaft being mainly hidden now, and we see the addition of these clear markings and also this tiny pointer, because this can also be used as a miniature caliper for measuring thickness. As before, we have a tungsten package opener and or glass breaker on the bottom of the tool, and we also have now a removable keyring loop, which is new for this version 2, along with this diamond file, another new addition, which is great for tidying up fingernails. This tool also works as a bottle opener, a mini clamp, nail puller and a general grabber and twister. It is nicely made, it has a precision feel about it, and it could easily sit unnoticed on a keyring until it is called into action. It could also make a useful addition to a lightweight kit, and I've been keeping the original in my carry-on travel kit, although to be honest I haven't yet used it in anger. As for the price, expect to pay in the region of $69. When it comes to tiny wallets, they don't really come any smaller than this. This is the micro wallet from a company called Paperwallet, and it's made from a material called Tyvek, which is a strong, lightweight, water resistant synthetic material which is part recycled and also recyclable, and it looks and feels like paper. Now, I've been using this one for several months now, not as my main wallet. I'm using this wallet pouch to carry my cards at the moment with some other essentials. But I bought this one as a minimal backup, which I travel with and keep separate in case I lose this. And I have to say, I'm really impressed. This thing weighs just 8 grams or around 1/3 ounce, which is less than the weight of a couple of credit cards, and contains 5 separate compartments and is barely the size of a credit card itself, and is less than 2mm thick, and yet surprisingly it also offers RFID protection. Now you can fit 8 cards in the wallet, but I prefer a maximum of 4. Each then gets its own space, and they seem to disappear in here, leaving a separate space free for some notes, which for me these days are rarely used. Even with the 4 cards and some cash in here, it's still ridiculously slim, and I would happily use this as my main wallet for a minimal carry. Paperwallets support a wide range of artists, and they have hundreds of designs to choose from, often with limited print runs, and I ended up buying a couple because I like these 2 designs so much. Now they actually have 4 different wallet styles to choose from, including one designed to hold coins, but the micro is the smallest and my personal favourite. As for the price, well, they do vary, but expect to pay around £30 or dollars. I've been a big fan of Nitecore's EDC flat profile flashlights, first seen with the EDC27 and the 27 UHI, which is this one here, and followed by the very impressive EDC29, which made it into my 2024 gear of the year. Now the latest addition to the range is this one. It's the EDC23, and it keeps the slim form factor, but it has significantly reduced the overall size, making it more pocketable than ever. This version is 1/2 inch thick and 4 inches long, and weighs a carry friendly 100 grams or 3.5 ounces, but it still manages to deliver a 2500 lumen maximum output, which is an awful lot for a light of this size, and it has a quoted 280 meter range. The body, like the others in the range, is stainless steel with a hard PVD matte black coating, and includes the signature heavy duty belt clip. We also have the super useful OLED display showing the real-time power and duration at the various light levels, and we also have the dual switches giving direct access to turbo and also strobe, as well as the physical shutdown and lockout switch seen on the EDC29. There's no moonlight mode here, but the lowest 15 lumen level will run for 39 hours on a full charge, which is pretty impressive. There's no case with this, it would only add unnecessary bulk, but you do get a short lanyard and carabiner clip. Now, as we've seen with the others in the range, the battery in here is not user replaceable, a compromise needed to deliver the flat form factor, and that will be a deal breaker for some. For me though, I really like this, and it's going to join my sling bag range of accessories for nighttime use. And as for the price, expect to pay around £75 or dollars. Nextool are starting to make a name for themselves when it comes to affordable quality and innovation in multi-tools, and the mini Flagship is no exception. And despite the budget price tag, which is under £30 or dollars, this is one of the best keychain multi-tools you can buy, especially since Leatherman started to cut back on their Keyring multi-tool range, which I think now consists of just the Micra, which is a very nice tool, and as you can see, it's smaller and lighter than the mini Flagship, but it is a lot more expensive and a lot less featured. What we have here with the mini Flagship are capable spring-loaded mini pliers and wire cutters, which are good to see. And then we also have some very capable and usefully large spring-loaded scissors, which work really well. Now, normally with a multi-tool of this size, you would have a choice of either scissors or pliers, but with this one, you have both. The other tools in here cover the basics. We have a two-dimensional Phillips, a small flathead and metal file, a combination can opener and bottle opener, and a small but very sharp blade. And this is non-locking, so the tool can be carried legally in the UK and in most other places. At 80 grams, so just under 3 ounces, it's not the lightest Keyring multi-tool on the market, and it's not the smallest either, but it is one of the most capable. Now, I've avoided recommending this tool in the past because it had a high fault liability, as these back springs here would often fracture and break. And I brought this up with Nextool last year, and they promised a solution in the form of an updated model, which has just now been released. In fact, Nextool released a short video on YouTube a couple of weeks ago which shows the improvements on this new model, and I'll link to that in the description. So if you're thinking of buying one, check that out and you'll know what to look for. But in summary, the new version has reinforcement ribs pressed into the metal and improved heat treatment to solve that fracture problem, and we are told better scissors, and that then makes this Keyring multi-tool very easy to recommend. Screwpop recently sent me their latest offering, which is this, the Toolkey II. And as the name suggests, this is a key-shaped tool, and it's designed to sit on your keyring and come to the rescue when duty calls. Now, Screwpop .2 17 features on offer here, although some of these are rather tenuous, like this protractor feature. This is the breakdown of everything it offers, so do feel free to pause the video here if you want to explore every feature. For me though, I do see value in the large flathead screwdriver for camera gear and the like, and also the bottle opener and the serrated cutting edge, as well as the wire stripper and ferrous tester, or you might say magnet, and also the small Phillips cum flathead in the end here. And that's not bad for something the size of a key. The price on Amazon.com is pretty reasonable at around $10, and the quality seems pretty good too. Also from Screwpop, we have a super minimal utility knife, and I love the simplicity of this. The blade slides into the metal frame and is held in place with a strong neodymium magnet and a small lever which stops it from sliding out. Then when you need to use the knife, you just lift the lever and slide the blade forward and drop the lever into one of the blade notches, and depending on the number of notches, blades generally have 2 or 4, you can choose how much blade length you are working with. And when the blade is fully recessed, you have, well, a bottle opener, of course. Even if the lever is lifted inadvertently, the magnet stops the blade from slipping out and doing damage, and that same magnet will allow the knife to attach to a ferrous surface, like say a toolbox. Finally, we have this oversized hole at the back, and that would allow you to clip it onto something like a carabiner or a lanyard. Sometimes it's the simplest designs which are the best, and I can see this finding its way into one of my kits. As for the price, well, expect to pay around $10. I backed this Pichi X2 multi-tool on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and now we have the latest version, the Pichi X2S. And this tool is made out of grade 5 titanium, which gives you lots of strength for low weight, which in this case is 44 grams, so 1.5 ounces. And the standout feature with this tool, as you might have guessed, is this self-adjusting spanner. This, we are told, takes in 40 different sizes of nuts and bolts, ranging from 3/16 to 13/16 of an inch, and the design means you don't have to remove the spanner for each rotation. It works a little bit like a ratchet, and you can also get into tight spaces with this. As well as a wrench, this tool also has a knife in the form of a standard replaceable scalpel blade, and this is held in place when open and closed with a ceramic bead detent, and then applied pressure keeps it there in use, and you can get a good grip at the same time. Then we have the pry bar, come nail puller, come large screwdriver, wire stripper and general scraper tool. And it's worth noting that if you apply a lot of force with this, the head angle here can create a twisting force, but that can actually be an advantage as well as a potential drawback. It depends on what you use it for. In the middle of the tool here we have another really useful feature, a 1/4 inch bit driver with a retaining magnet. Now short bits like this one will work in most situations, but a longer bit will give you more options. And the benefit here is that you can apply plenty of forward pressure and loads of torque. And let's not forget the ubiquitous bottle opener, which I have to say does work well. So far this is all exactly the same as the original, and it's only when you turn the tool over that you can see the difference. The original here incorporates a pocket clip, which I criticised in my initial review because the location means it sits too high in the pocket, and it can also get in the way when using the wrench and the pry bar. In the new version, the pocket clip has gone, and instead we have a flush fitting and much more useful serrated saw designed to cut through fibrous materials. And this locks in place with a liner lock so it doesn't fold back on your fingers if it gets stuck in the material you're cutting. There's a lanyard hole here for attachment, but if you're missing the pocket clip, there are a couple of leather case options available, one of which offers a belt clip. This is well engineered and made from titanium, and all the features on offer here are genuinely useful, with perhaps the exception of the new saw, which I would say is just a nice to have. And all of that does come at a cost, which in this case is £99 or $120. MRF are an engineering company based in Ukraine, which I'm sure cannot be easy right now, and they produce a range of metal EDC gear which is worth checking out. And their latest offering is this simple but effective pry bar, and they call it the Prybar L, and it has just finished funding on Kickstarter. This one here is titanium, and it's really nicely finished with a flat base and incorporates a nail puller and a range of wrenches and a 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch bit driver. Also you get a bottle opener and this recessed cutter here, which I think is probably of limited use, and the cutaway here, which means it can be hooked onto a belt loop or onto a pocket, or you might decide to attach a lanyard to the bit driver hole instead. Being titanium, this is very light for what it is, at just 27 grams or under an ounce, and that's really what stood out for me. A simple, compact but functional pry bar with a few extras, but with very little weight. Now if keeping weight down isn't a priority for you, then MRF also make it in steel. This is 420 steel, and it's almost twice the weight at 50 grams, but it will be a little bit tougher. And as you can see from this, they do some interesting print options too. As for the price, well, expect to pay around $45 for the titanium version and around $42 for the steel. Now, as part of the same range, MRF also introduced this very tiny titanium S-Bit driver, weighing in at just 2 grams. That's less than 1/10 of an ounce, which is barely even noticeable. Now this has a large flathead screwdriver and a relatively large Phillips screwdriver, also a bottle opener, some small wrenches and a 1/4 inch bit driver, with some spring tension so the bit stays in place. Now, you're not going to get much leverage with this because it is so small. Nevertheless, I do think in the absence of anything else, it could actually be quite useful. It comes with this very nice keyring, which I believe MRF also design and make, and it's available in steel as well as titanium, with both versions costing the same at around $19. As I film this, MRF tell me they have very little stock right now, but I understand more is coming soon, and they did provide a discount code which I'll put in the description, and I believe they do ship all over the world. Ant Designs are the makers of one of the best quick release keyring connectors on the market. This one here, which is the Q1, which I've featured before on the channel. It's well made, small, quick and easy to use, and also very secure. It locks in place until you pull on the collar and is a much better solution than a simple powerful magnet which can easily become detached when pulled at an angle. Well, Ant Design have just introduced an updated version, the Q1 version 2, making one of the best even better. And as you can see, it is quite a bit smaller than the original and still super secure, requiring a pull on the collar to detach the keys like before. But this time reattaching is done by just bringing the two halves close together in a single action, much like playing magnets, whereas version 1 was a two-stage process: bring together and then push, requiring two hands. It might seem like a small thing, but in regular use it does actually make a big difference, and the new version is super satisfying in use. The price is looking like the same as before, which is £16 or $19 for the aluminium version and £24 or $30 for the titanium one. And this is the one I have here. I've noticed also that the original Q1 is now heavily discounted. And that's not all. Ant Design have applied the new keyring release design to their own key carry solution, which is this, the new Q1 Key Organiser. It's a simple design to keep things neat and stop the jangle, and it consists of this U-shaped holder with a selection of spring washers and spacers with the quick release connector already built in. And there are two sizes available. We've got this one here which holds 2 to 3 keys, and then there is this larger one for 3 to 5 keys, with both sizes coming in at the same price, which is around £33 or $39. Okay, there we have it for this one. Please do give it a like if you liked it, and if you want to see some more small stuff, I have another video for you linked here and in the video description below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you can join me for the next one.